Hello, guys. I felt the need to come on here for several reasons. Um, Obviously, my podcast is Conversations with Drew. Um, if you want to, you can hit the like and subscribe buttons. But I felt the need to come on here in this setting for several reasons. One reason is because today in American history is a dark day. It's never happened before. There's never been a former president or current president that has been convicted in the court of law. So I felt like I needed to come on here, obviously, with the whole news about Trump being convicted on 34 counts, and just basically give my opinion, my feelings on it, so you guys can have the information, so you guys can be informed. It's a sad day. It's a sad day in our country for sure. First of all, the whole trial was over the hush money during the election from 2016. So we're talking about 2016 being the year. We're talking about payments that were possibly used from his campaign funds, is what they said. So being that case, you would think that you couldn't try it as a state prosecutor, and it would have to be a federal prosecutor that tries it. However, it was a state prosecutor that tried it, 34 counts. I was hearing things about the judge said yesterday that they don't have to agree on which crime was committed. They just have to find a crime that was committed. There's so many moving parts. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know a whole lot about law. I know I'm smart enough to know that what happened today in this whole trial, just the premise behind this whole trial, we've heard witnesses talk and everything, and just there was no crime that was actually committed. And to say he was guilty on 34 counts, as a jury, obviously the jury was picked. They weren't picked, or they were picked, and they were picked with a special reason in mind, and that was that they were anti-Trump jurors, so that obviously no matter what you say, they're already going to say he's guilty. Just a lot of different moving parts. Each count carries a maximum prison sentence of 4 years in total. Because of 34 counts, he faces a maximum sentence of 136 years. Could he see prison time? We don't know. Obviously, the judge is a anti-Trump judge. The attorney behind the whole case is Alvin Bragg, of falsified business records. However, it was hush money. We obviously know it was hush money. He's the first former president of the United States, obviously, to be convicted of a crime. Obviously, never happened before. To even have the president on trial, there's multiple different lawsuits for Trump going into the November elections, and it's just it's a very dark time because, in my opinion, these DAs are using the justice system as a weapon to take down a political opponent of the president of the United States. And to me, we just can't have that. In my opinion, I think the Supreme Court should have stepped in before we even got to any trials and said, hey, this can be done, this can't be done, X, Y, and Z, so that, hey, going forward, if you want to convict a president, you can. If you don't want to, obviously, we don't know what we can do, obviously, because the Supreme Court won't make a ruling, which I believe that they should beforehand. Anyways, Trump was found guilty of 34 counts. Sad day in America. What do you guys think? To me, honestly, the whole thing behind it, the whole thing behind Trump, yes, I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for him back in 2020. And yes, I'll vote for him in 2024. I will probably lose viewers. YouTube will probably shadow ban my videos because I'm saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'll take the heat, even though I'm trying to grow this channel. But anyways, moving on with that. It's just a very, very sad day in our country. A sad day in our nation that I even have to be here talking about a former president being found guilty of crimes that he really didn't commit. Going into November, I think the real jurors are gonna decide in November, and not just a group of 12 people in New York City. I don't think Joe Biden is a good president. I don't think the Democrat Party as a whole is represented by people with the best interests of this country in mind. We see it from many different representatives that they go out and they voice their opinions on issues that don't even involve our country. They voice their issues on things outside of our country. If you're going to represent our country, you should talk about our country and focus on our country. Focus on our country first, and then focus on outside things second. And right now, no one seems to focus on our country first. They focus on outside issues. Trump convicted, obviously, that's the big news. I'm going to try and stick to that. The judge in the case is Juan Merchan. The sentencing for the sentencing will take place July 11th at 10 a.m. 4 days, and that's 4 days before the start of the Republican National Convention. And obviously, Trump is expected to be formally nominated as the 2024 Republican presidential nominee. Any motions for the case will need to be filed by June 13th, so that's a few weeks from now. The conviction, the one good bright part is the conviction doesn't bar Trump from running for president, which obviously is good. Because of the whole case, prosecutors, I guess, needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump falsified business records to conceal a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. And the whole case, obviously, she's the focus of the whole case. Trump did speak about the whole thing. Trump came out, he said that this was a disgrace. This is rigged, a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt as a rigged trial and disgrace. It would give us a venue. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We're at 5% or 6% in this district. It was rigged, disgraceful trial. Trump also went on to say that the real verdict will be November 5th by the people, obviously highlighting that November 5th is election day and that the country will ultimately end up deciding on the actual verdict. He also goes on to say that they know what happened here. Everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. Trump goes on to add that we didn't do anything wrong. I'm a very innocent man. It's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. Obviously, if you look at it and look at all the different the things Trump's on trial for, he's on trial for in DC for trying to, I guess, overthrow an election. What are they saying? He's on trial in DC. He's on trial in Atlanta because because of the election interference or election fraud, whatever is going on in Atlanta. He's on trial for a whole bunch of different things that you really don't see a lot of candidates on trial for. First time in my lifetime that I've seen a presidential candidate be on trial for so many different things after already being the president of the U.S. In my opinion, they're trying to find every way they can to prevent Trump from being the president. I don't know a single Democrat that has a solution to anything. Just look at gas prices. Why are gas prices the way they are? First day Joe Biden was in office, he signed an executive order dealing with that would end up ultimately closing down gas pipelines and ways to distribute oil that can be refined into gas. Basically slashing our energy independence, which now we rely on other countries for gas and different energy, and trying to push the whole electric and clean energy on us, which right now just isn't sustainable. And so when you ask me if we have a person who's trying to push all this or a administration trying to push all this without doing the research to see, hey, are we actually going to be able to do this, or should we continue doing what we're doing now until we can do this? And right now that's just not the case. They're pushing all this other stuff. A lot of his different policies have caused inflation. Obviously Democrats, their whole thing is a student loan forgiveness. So basically if you go to college and pull out a loan, now people will have to pay more in taxes, or you have to pay more in taxes in certain things, so that they can wipe the debt of the student loans so that those people don't have to pay off the loans. Which if you went to college and you got a loan back in the day and you paid off that loan through working after you graduated, after you finished school, you didn't get that opportunity because back then the mindset was you work hard, you work for what you do. So you basically earn your degree by working. It's a sad day. It's a sad day in America. It's a sad day in our country. Saddened by what happened. I think, honestly, to me, the whole thing being in New York, obviously New York doesn't like Trump, especially New York City, where the trial took place. Obviously, like he said, in the district, he was at 6%. So there's a lot of people in that area that don't like him. There's a lot of people in that state that don't like him. I think that the venue, I don't think that Alvin Bragg, being a district DA for Manhattan, has the ability to prosecute a crime that would be deemed, for what he's prosecuting it for, which should be a federally prosecuted crime, and he's not a federal prosecutor, he's a state prosecutor. That's my opinion. Obviously, this whole stuff is my opinion. I'm giving my thoughts. I think it's a terrible day for our country. I think the Democrats and what they're trying to do to Trump is terrible. I think that anybody who supports Joe Biden at this point, I think anybody who supports these people that are trying to prosecute Trump should really think about their interests and beliefs in our country and their interests and beliefs in our future, because being a 30-year-old, the way that our country is going, I don't think that my future is going to be a very good one at this rate. So I just think that it's a sad day for our country. I'm praying for Trump and his family. I'm praying for our country. I'm praying that we can put all this stuff behind us. I'm praying that something happens that says, hey, knock this stuff off. You can't charge for a crime that wasn't committed. You can't do this. You can't do that. I'm just waiting for the day that all this stuff that I believe in, been saying, and a lot of the people I know have believed in. I'm just waiting for the day that we get our told you so moment. And come November, I hope that people really start to think about, really actually focus on today and start to think about what the heck is going on in our country. Wrap it up by saying I'm deeply saddened, and I hope that we have a better way forward throughout the rest of the year, and that come November we see a big change. And I really support Trump. That's how I'll end it. I pray for our country. I pray for everybody. I'll see you guys on the next episode.